everyone, I'm Zee Ngema. Welcome back to the OkayAfrica Lounge. I'm joined by
Seun Kuti.
And Bro Diallo.
Hello everyone.
Hello.
How are we doing today?
I'm well.
Well behaved.
Well behaved and good. We love to see it. Okay. So my first question is a little bit serious, but in like a fun way. For the first time, probably in modern history, we Africans are in charge of our own narrative. We're in charge of our own stories. How do you think we're doing?
It's a good thing. I want to say taking charge of our narrative and telling our own stories and being able to tell it how we want to tell it. I think it's two different things. You know, yes, a lot of Africans out there and we're doing our thing, you know. But I feel that we are not, everything we're doing is still being critiqued, policed, you know, checked, rechecked, balanced. You know, we are not allowed to freely be what we want to be and tell it how it is. You know, there's always a need to compromise to make this person feel better or that person feel okay, or this institution approves or doesn't approve or whatever. So we might be telling our stories, but we're not telling it how it is, you know. And I think that's the next step. This is where we are now, to tell it how it is, you know.
Okay. And you, Diallo?
I don't know. I don't feel that Africans, we're in charge of our own narrative. I think there's a lot of black faces and a lot of black voices, but at the core, it's still Western-oriented, neo-colonial condition, a lot of mimicry of our former and current oppressors. So just a short answer, I don't think we're doing a very good job. I think there needs to be more revolutionary, Pan-African, non-status quo, and subversive African media out before I could really say we're in charge of our narrative.
Okay. I hear you both. And with both of your responses, what kind of conversations or chatter were you seeing online that made you want to add to the conversation and create a podcast?
Want to
go? Balloon popping. You know, I don't think enough of African or black media is speaking to the grand erosion of just human rights, and the status quo is regressing towards more overt oppression, overt racism. The ecosystem is contaminated and rapidly collapsing, and we're having a good time. Not that I'm against it, but I don't think there's enough radical black voices to, in a radical black perspective, to articulate Africa's interest and to lay out Africa's agenda for the emerging and current crisis. So just to inject the same level of hope and motivation and inspiration, but with a grounded in we're in serious times and we need to take deliberate action.
I mean, from the perspective of an African like me, you know, from the continent, you know, relating to even other Africans on the continent, you know, our own biggest conversation is who has the best jollof. You know, I can't say that shit enough. That shit pisses me the fuck off. You know, like the biggest conversation we want to have online, you know, is Nigerian Ghanaians, you know, who has the best jollof. When jollof is better than, and this shit is serious, like, you know, there's jollof competitions, you know, like I don't mind some food competition, but the level of importance of this shit, you know, the gender wars, the diaspora wars between Africans and Africans in the diaspora. Yeah. We're trying to see who is better. I feel that the real story of African people is not being told, you know, by what is status quo media, mainstream media, even online media, you know, that attracts the attention of African people today. I think our true story of cooperation out of oppression is lost in this noise of competition, of consumerist competition, materialistic competition, whatever it is. You know, and we fight all these fake wars and negate the class war that we all should actually be engaged in. You know, the war against imperialism that we all should be engaged in. So that's why I feel like we should we are not adding to the space, you know. I think we are creating something unique. Trying to build a new community of Africans that are, you know, that are not engaged in any of these narratives.
And with what you're saying, I've seen some of your work, Diallo, where you speak about black on black violence, and I think something that we see on the continent is a lot of our leaders are black. All of our leaders are black, and yet they are treating us the way that you would assume, you know, a Western leader would treat us. How do you speak to that sort of relationship, as well as the fact that we now have 2 out of 54 African presidents being women?
Well, we have actually on the podcast a whole show about, you know, black first, but one of my mantras is ideology is all. We've been so deprived of black faces in prominent positions that we fall for one of the oldest tricks in the book, which is tokenism, where they put or what I call it chocolate-coated fascism, where they put a person that looks like you in a position, but their conduct is directly reflective of, you know, the former or your oppressor. And with as far as there's a lot of hustles going on here in the African diaspora, as Seun calls it, Greater Africa, where they are promising us things that are supposed to be liberatory: black banks, black leaders, black businesses, black entrepreneurs, black billionaires, where Africa is awash in all those things that the hustlers and the scammers in the African diaspora say, once we get these things, we'll be free. And they completely ignore the fact that all the things they have us striving for are present in Africa, and Africa's still under oppression. We get our own land, we get our own resources, open up our own farms. And so it's very good that without a Pan-African perspective, you won't even understand that a lot of things we're fighting for, we actually have in abundance, and those aren't truly liberatory. So we need to start to recognize tokenism and understand beyond the race of the leader or the prominent figure, what is their ideology and ideological agenda, and what class do they represent? Do they represent the masses of the people? Do they act in the interest of the masses of the people? Or are they only representing a very particular demographic of Africans at the very top to leave the rest of us in lurch? Because I, for one, don't want to trade a white boot on my neck for a black boot. I don't see that as progress.
Okay. Well, so one of the ways that Africans celebrate ourselves, the way that we protest, the way that we communicate is through music. And Afrobeat in particular is very powerful in carrying messages, and whether it's what your family has done or just across the continent. Now, the genre itself has been inspired by so much music and has inspired so much music on the continent. How would you describe it to someone who would claim to never heard it before?
Wow. I think Afrobeat, at least, I feel is the one I mean, Afrobeat music, not Afrobeats. But for me, Afrobeat music is the musical interpretation of the experiences of African people. You know, if you're going to make music to represent a certain group, I want my music to represent the reality of the majority. I don't want to speak about things that happen to few people in a bubble that very few Africans get to experience. You know, because those things are fleeting. The reality of Africa, you know, happens to the majority of African people. So I want whatever, you know, I touch, you know, in music to be of such things. I find it weird that African music is so prominent. But if you are an alien and you say that you're trying to explain this music, African music to, so if this alien arrives and just listens to mainstream African music, he will not live back to his planet understanding the realities of African people. Okay. In fact, he'll be confused. He will go back and say, I mean, if you just play all the YouTube videos for this alien, he'll go back and say, well, on that planet, the Africans are the richest, they are the most free, They control everything. You know, they own everything. I mean, they have absolutely no problem. They are the only people with no problem. You know, I mean, they're the only people who everybody's just doing well. So fucking well. You know, so, and for me, it's not wrong. This is not right or wrong. It's life and death. So I'm not saying that's wrong. What is missing, you know, is lack. That's the issue. What we are lacking, what is missing in our stories like this is that nobody is speaking for the majority of Africans. Nobody is projecting or reflecting, at least to the fore, what our real situation is as African people. And art has that responsibility, you know, so that's why we explain it to whoever, like, it is the musical interpretation of the experiences of African people.
So then how do you combine the reality and the hard parts with joy and beauty?
That's why I'm gifted and talented. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it.
Right.
I mean, everybody will be doing. That's the gift. That's the gift. That's the mystery of it all. Like I always say, Angelo doesn't like, you know, from mystery we have come, and to mystery we shall return. You know, so certain things can be explained.
Fair. Okay. So if Afrobeat were a food, would it be sweet or spicy, and why?
I think Afrobeat will be spicy now. Just because African people like pepper. I don't think African people can make music that is sweet because we like pepper. So it's going to be spicy. Afrobeat is spicy. What do you think?
As long as it's vegan, organic, and non-GMO, I'll take it either way.
Okay. Okay. So, Diallo,
Obedient.
what advice do you have for African Americans wanting to reconnect with the continent, wanting to reconnect with their ancestry?
Be Africa at home first. Dr. John Henry Clark says you can't run an African economy if you can't operate a candy store in Harlem. So just like white folks don't have to go back to Stockholm to learn to be racist, Alabama and all the rural areas of America, they ain't been back to Europe in generations, but yet they know how to be racist. We can be Africans right where we are. And so, you know, the spectacle and the what I call the cosmetic or aesthetic African, putting on the garb and stuff. Africa, mutual cooperation, mutual respect, mutual support amongst people in your community. And there are a lot of people will get on a plane and go to the continent and go all over social media. I'm home, Wilson, they're in Ghana, they're in Senegal, and then come back to 125th Street and don't speak to their neighbors. So my advice is be Africa, Africa's in you. I'm not an African because I was born in Africa. I was an African because I was born in me. So if you start conducting yourself according to African principles and values within your own local community, and that's what you do. And when you finally do reach the continent, it won't be what they call culture shock because you're already conducting yourself as a full-fledged African within yourself.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, now I'm going to stress you guys. How many African presidents can you name? Name.
Wala. Wait, Cyril Ramaphosa.
Historically or
Tinubu. I've gone to Ruto in Kenya.
Mm-hmm.
Do dictators count?
I mean,
Traore.
you kind of can't avoid it.
What was the guy in Niger's name that just became president?
Good luck. Huh?
What was the guy in Niger's name that just became president?
Nice.
Sisi, Egypt.
Yes.
Don't play with me. Let's keep going.
We're sharing. This is mutual. I just talked about communalism.
It's a group activity.
Yes.
In Eswatini, they don't have a president. They have a king.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. I know it's something they thought.
Oh, the sister that just got elected.
But Sirleaf is no longer. They removed that one.
There's another.
George Weah has lost to some guy. Oh my God. I'm terrible with this. What is the guy in Congo? Felix
Tshisekedi.
Tshisekedi.
Oh God.
good.
Who's the
You think
Rwanda, bloodthirsty Rwandan
Oh.
leader?
Kagame.
Kagame. Thank
Okay. I don't know if we can include that, but yes.
you. You didn't say good or bad.
Yeah,
You didn't
that's-
qualify.
yeah,
you didn't
yeah.
call
You just said
anybody.
African.
Who has a
state.
job? Yeah.
Coffin for head of state.
In Sudan, they have two. I don't know the name, but they have RSF and the Sudanese army.
They're working that out.
They are working it out. So that doesn't have.
We're not gonna talk. Right.
So that doesn't have.
No.
They are trying to work it out.
They're trying to figure it out. Correct. Yep.
The Arabs are trying to, take what is not theirs. Let's be.
Let's be
All
honest.
Muslims were brothers and equal.
Since when?
Okay, I'm
Wait,
gonna
I'm
rope
not
us
done.
back.
I'm not done. I'm not that. I'm sure I can still remember.
You
a
have
few
like
more.
9.
Wait, out of 54.
Yes, I'm giving you props.
That's bad.
I'm.
Hey, we just want Mahama, Ghana.
Yes.
What's going on? Come on, man. Diallo,
What?
move your ass.
You were saying Namibia.
Huh?
One of her
Yes.
names is Nandi.
Yes.
One
thank
of
you.
them.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And Dos Santos
Matembo.
just left Angola. Why are the long-term guys? Bia, Cameroon.
Yes.
Ha ha.
Long
Come
time.
on. Hey, Emerson Mnangagwa.
Yes, Zimbabwe. What about Senegal? They just got the.
That young guy in Senegal. What was that his
We
name?
don't count Franco.
Everybody in Senegal. Let me guess. His name is 3 names. Let me guess.
Because it is.
Let me, his name is either, in Senegal they only have 3 names. Let me see. Check.
Jallo.
Is his name Diallo?
No.
That's one.
That's one. Traore, no, that's Senegal. Wait. Senegal. How many footballers do they have that had one name? The same name, all of them, one time. They don't have they don't use a lot of names
I
in
don't
that
follow
country.
soccer. Sorry. Okay.
Beseru?
Moving on. Huh?
Beseru,
Now
Senegal.
this is his own personal issue now.
Next time you come, we want all 54
we
because
hit
you're
the
doing
limit.
I
great.
can't believe I did only 10.
We surpassed the limit. Let's
10 or
move on.
54.
Yeah.
Enough for both of us to share.
Those are
What do
good
you mean? You
odds.
didn't even add any name.
I said bloodthirsty. I gave you hints. Every time I gave a hint, you ran with it. When I said dictator or coup leader, every time I gave you a hint. So I set you up. I gave you alley-oop. You dunked it.
It's a group activity, Shane.
Keita.
Cooperation, not a competition.
In Mali, what's that Mali's head of state?
But aren't they going through a military? I don't think. Oh no,
Head
you're
of
right.
state. He has head of state. They have head of state. He's part of the Sahel
Yeah.
trio.
If you want to talk
name
about
of
African
Keita.
leaders,
What's his name? I'm trying to remember his name.
African leaders,
This one of the Sahel trio. The
you really
revolutionary
should be
leaders.
naming CEOs and Western presidents, but okay.
Okay, nice. You
That's-
did great.
That's the technical answer you're giving.
All of the answers are being
Who's
contributed.
truly leading Africa?
Okay, which
I tried 10,
Jesus.
but we need to do better. To 54. That just show you how useless these people are. Nobody knows them.
Thank you.
they're the problem.
Oh.
They're the
Okay.
problem, of course.
Got
Nobody
you.
knows them.
No,
They're
yeah,
not
yeah,
inspiring
yeah. Why
us.
aren't you more special?
We are not being inspired.
That's all going to change in 2027.
Which African country have you always wanted to visit but haven't yet?
Egypt.
Oh.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah. Whatever. I just have to go see. I'm not going to go and see the bodies of our ancestors in their museums.
Okay.
But I'll go and look at what our ancestors have built
Yeah.
and that is under occupation. Just to make sure they are taking care of it well. Just to inspect it.
Suss it
Not
out.
to go there as some kind of tourist, but I just want to go and inspect our shit that is there. We got a lot of shit in Egypt. Somebody needs to put eye on them. Have you gone?
No.
Are you going?
No time.
Exactly.
No
And you
plan
complain
to
that somebody wants to go and do
Yeah,
that hard
that's-
job.
That's okay. I'm hating. And I apologize
Exactly.
for the hateration.
Wow, okay, that was beautiful.
Exactly.
Where
The
would
Grinch
you
of
like to go?
Pan-Africanism.
The Grinch had redeemable qualities.
Thank you. My heart is swelling up right now. If it were me, Ethiopia. Ethiopia.
Okay, that's the answer. Cool.
Yeah, well, the food,
Okay.
Ethiopian food.
That's my favorite African food, actually.
Oh.
Ethiopian food is the
I
best.
want to learn
Nigerian?
that head shoulders
Of course, over
dance.
Nigerian food.
Not of course.
So,
I'm an African, of
The
course.
dance.
I mean, this is just being honest. Ethiopian food first.
well, we're both
You know.
East Africa, Horn of Africa,
Nigerian food is a close second, no doubt. Was Ethiopian food first?
Ethiopia.
Come on.
Yes.
That's where we started to learn the cooking now.
Oh,
You
everyone
know,
else was practicing, but
yeah.
Ethiopia got it right.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's when we started to learn that,
Okay,
So I
all
took-
right.
Not only the raw meat side of the cooking, the cooking side. The
Have
one
you
they
tried
cook.
that?
Mm-mm.
No.
Vegan.
Sorry.
The vegan.
The vegan
Yeah, there's a
side.
lot of vegan food in
Ethiopian
Ethiopia.
vegan food I can eat all day.
Yes.
That's the only
Throw
vegan
down.
food I love.
They have
The lentils, the
Most
red beans,
Injera, yeah, it's good.
your kick.
injera.
Injera.
That's the bread. Don't spoil
Kick,
our national
the
dish.
gum.
Askis. Our national
Our
dish.
national
Now
dish.
you're one of them.
I'm from it. We are all from there. We are all from the whole of
you
Africa.
Yes,
have to
we're
eat whatever
all-
they serving in Egypt.
No,
That's your country.
that's not my country.
Yeah, you
I'm
can't
from
fancy
Lower
that.
Egypt, Tameri,
You
which is
said
now
that you go,
Ethiopia.
okay. Well, Lower Egypt is Upper Egypt. You mean Lower is in the north.
No,
Lower Egypt is Egypt is a completely different orientation than the
don't
Western
change
orientation.
Egypt. It is a lie.
Just saying.
I was from lower near the Ethiopian
Oh,
side.
that's why you were asking me about
You, the
Anthony
tall
Browder.
people, you
want
tall
to,
people,
You
were the
want
ones
to
from the
go to shout out to Anthony
You
Browder.
tall people were the ones from the northern side. Look how long you are. You are the ones in this modern day Egypt.
Hey guys.
Yeah, sorry.
Hey. Okay. So if you were to put a festival together, a music festival, which 3 acts have to be on the lineup? Can be dead,
Good.
can be alive, can be from anywhere.
Seun. Because he spits hot fire.
Thank you, brother. I know you know something good.
Yes.
I know.
Yeah.
My man. I mean, that's the lineup.
That's the answer.
lineup.
Okay,
That's
gorgeous.
my lineup. What's yours?
That's the lineup.
Okay.
That's the
That's
lineup.
it. You're just gonna have to rally the whole time.
Yeah.
Spits hot fire.
Okay. What are some you mentioned one earlier, but what are some misconceptions about Africa that you find to be the most ridiculous?
Misconceptions.
Well, I was
look-
raised on myths, fallacies, and misconceptions. I was educated in the West. So you're there on the ground. It's probably harder to see from an outsider. There are so many, way too many.
No, the common misconception that I see is reverse misconception. The misconception that Africans think that when Europeans show Africans hungry on TV, they don't know that Africa has beautiful places. Not that they just don't give a fuck about the beautiful places that we have. I think that's the common misconception I see. Like, many Africans show off like, oh, this is Africa too, Hey, this is Africa too. Stop showing just it. Nobody gives a fuck.
They know what they're doing.
They know exactly what they're doing, So, yeah,
So true.
that's my word.
If I had to say, out of the many, first of all, the poverty. Africa is a poor place. Again, people don't invade and occupy poor places. If I was going to kick in somebody's front door, it's not going to be the front door of the shanty. I want to kick in the door of the mansion. So the fact that Africa has had continuous incursions and was the crown jewel or goal for both of the so-called world wars, that Africa's poverty has nothing to do with Africa lacking.
The
but
poverty of African
it's a
people.
byproduct of Africa's
It's not
wealth.
the poverty of the land.
Yeah, so we were taught that Africa's a poor and dependent state. So the Africans don't like us over there. That they don't like us
I don't like you.
over there. Well, you hear that.
Yes, not over there.
Right. So, and I've engaged with my brothers and sisters from Tanzania, South Africa, Nigeria, Ethiopia, Senegal. My best friend in high school was from Kenya. Just most of the continent. I've had an opportunity to get to know brothers and sisters from all over the continent, and they have great affinity and appreciation and solidarity with our struggles. So that's another misconception that a lot of people find very profitable, even other black people, ADOS, FBA, scum. So that's another thing. You asked for 3?
No,
Oh, okay. So
but
that's
thank
2.
you.
She said 1.
Oh, 1.
Yeah.
The biggest misconception.
What's a misconception you see Africans have about each other that bothers you the most?
We think we can be admitted into whiteness. We think we can become white people. That blows my mind. Many Africans, They just think that they are especially the richest African people. They all think they are honorary Europeans. You know, that's the most dangerous misconception. They think they are honorary Europeans and honorary Arabs.
Or that you can buy your way into it.
Yeah, that's what they lord over everybody. All these things that they own, you know. So all African people think about themselves is, you know, the most valuable African man is the African man that can possess as much European things, you know. So they make us feel like, you know, we have to aspire to this whiteness business. Yeah, it's very dangerous, you know. Serious, that's the serious one. But the most common misconception that is, you know, normal due to the system is that every African is a billionaire in waiting. We all believe we are already billionaire, though that the billions have not come. So don't respect yourself. Don't think I'm the billion already. Don't fuck. So everything, whatever billionaires say, they support. Yeah, because they don't want to do anything that will harm their billions when it comes in the future.
So
That's a funny one. You know? Not as dangerous as the first, but yeah.
Well, I think it's the fact that we're our own worst enemy. Suggests that our wounds are self-inflicted, and that if we would exhibit certain appropriate behaviors, that would end our condition. So we like to take our enemies and oppressors off the hook or hold them blameless as if our problems originate from within. Because we confuse the fact that the solutions must come from within. So that will often lead someone to the fallacy that the problems are from within. And when you identify the true source of the problems, people want to talk about victim mentality, which is no such thing. You never hear about a victimizer mentality. No one ever speaks about the victimizer or the predatory mentality, but everyone wants to condemn or identify the victim mentality. So the fact that fallacy that our wounds are internally caused and then thus generates a lot of energy for pointless internal conflict, and where Kwame Ture once stated, we don't wage war against powerless people, because even when you defeat them, what do you gain? So all of your analysis, all of your energy, all of your targeting must be those in power, those who control the means of production, those who control the apparatus of the state and the religion. You know, so you target, you analyze, you subvert power, as opposed to bickering within ourselves about pulling your pants up or, you know, proper standard English and shit like that we fight over, or who has the best rice. So
and in Africa, it also manifests as everybody sees each other as enemies.
Yeah.
Low key, everybody's an enemy.
Right.
You know, like low key, I mean, every song, you know, enemies, my enemies this, my enemy. Why do you have all these enemies? Just you. Why all this?
What's going
What
on?
have you done?
What's
What have you
going
actually
on?
done? Maybe you are a bad person. Maybe that's why. Maybe this is a call for self, because every song, every time, enemies here, enemies there.
Yeah.
You know, just we distrust everybody except the government officials. They don't. Those ones are not enemies. Enemies from here to Kalamazoo, whatever. I'm telling you, it's crazy.
The powerless versus the powerless.
Yeah.
And you can talk to some of the most radical voices in the so-called, you know, African diaspora, and they will take up arms, and they're all masculine, alpha males, well-armed, trained, martial arts and guns. And you say, well, who's the enemy? Single mothers, the gays, you know, the youth, our children are our enemy. They won't pull their pants up. They have poor taste in music. Every enemy on their enemies list is another vulnerable population that really controls nothing. It's just who you see every day. You know, you walk out your house under a state of lack or oppression, you're going to see other poor people. Mm-hmm. And all the people flying above you in charter jets, they don't even exist to you. So my problem comes from my neighbor, not the guy in the, you know, bunker or in the affluent neighborhood. So that's the biggest misconception, that we are not our worst enemies, and we're not our own enemies at all. Our wounds are not self-inflicted.
Mm-hmm. I think we are starting to see conversations where people are talking about stuff like that, though, and understanding that I think a lot of African leaders and maybe leaders around the world have convinced themselves that they were brought into a position because of some special being or because they have some certain, when in reality it's a job. And I think that with a lot
Please,
of
I want to check if this interview can continue.
the ancestors told you to wait.
Yes.
Okay.
I want to check where you are going is approved. I've told you, this interview doesn't just, nothing in this set happens, everything is spiritually controlled.
That's good. Beautiful.
You
Yep.
see again?
Again, once
You
again,
on
the
your
ancestors.
side, the two of us can continue.
Do you see that I'm highly favored?
No, we are ancestor approved.
Yes, but this is the second
Yeah,
time. in a
don't
row
touch
that-
it!
Hey! Woo! What is Nigeria's most redeemable quality?
Oh, like everywhere else, because we Nigerians like to feel special. So when I say this, I don't want you to think it makes you better than anybody else. Just like anywhere else in the world, it's people.
Okay.
It will make me feel just like anywhere else in the world. Because that's what yes, Nigeria for life.
Africa's giant.
Like, even when they announced that Kemi Badinot, a leader of Conservative Party, Nigeria, yeah, Nigeria, we are winning. I'm like, is it every, oh my God. And also, we dominate the music world because our elites invest the most in entertainment. Not because we are better than all the other musicians in Africa. Okay? Jesus Christ. I had to get off my chest.
And I want every Nigerian who's going to see this to know that he said that and not me.
Yes. Yes.
I think you're all swell.
Of course, we are amazing, but we are not more amazing than our brothers and sisters anywhere else in the world. Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Okay.
And we dominate music because our elites invest the most. We invest more than the South Africans, we invest more than the Ghanaians, we invest more than anybody. We invest more in entertainment than we do in music, in education, for Christ's sakes. So it's not surprising we are kicking ass. You know?
But you're also very good at it.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Like the rest of African people, we are musically gifted. We are talent. We are the best. But we are the best together.
Okay. You're the best, but with everyone else. I love
Yes.
that. I love that.
Okay?
Yeah.
If that's the only way to understand it, you have to be the best to understand it. Okay, you are the best. But with everybody else.
It would be lonely to be the only best.
No,
You have to have company.
no, Europeans want only best. One person that's the best. That's
And
why,
that's why their days are numbered.
I don't know. It's that you said that. See, listen. You gotta move your chair to this side. You know, in this show, when you say things, and you always scoot because you know. Hello, everybody. My name is Seun Kuti,
And this is Bro Diallo.
and together we are Bird's Eye View
And we'd like to wish
OkayAfrica
a happy 15th
anniversary. Yay!
Anniversary.
Ancestors be praised.
Big
Hey! All praises due. All praises due.
Got 5 on
All praises due. All praises due. Man,
All praises due. I don't know if they
where's the
are
energy,
up there
bro?
yet.